The Innovators Network.
Welcome to the Killer Innovation Show, the longest continuously produced podcast in history. Each week, Phil McKinney brings you the insights and strategies to amplify your creativity and innovation skills. Here's your host, Phil McKinney.
Welcome to the studio. In the studio here, I do a lot of work for not only my day job, but also coaching and mentoring and supporting everything from startups to large multinationals. And in that role, I regularly get calls asking for urgent help coming up with ideas. Some form of crises has emerged, or CEOs getting ready for a board meeting, or an innovation team needing to come up with some ideas to use as a starting point. So can a person be creative on demand? Can you pick up the phone and have someone drop an issue on your lap? And can you generate really high quality ideas in the moment? Yes. There are 3 steps I use. With 30 to 60 minutes, I can develop a set of ideas that gives them a starting point. These are not fully finished, fully formed ideas, but it gives them some starting points. In another 30 minutes, you can come out with ranked ideas, ideas that are identify the ones that are most interesting, the ones that can drive some again, as a sparking question that others can build upon. Now, I recently did this for a medium-sized business in mobile tech located in the South. Literally got asked to join a Zoom call, and they had a problem, defined, and they were looking for ideas that they could then use to go off and dig into and see which of these made sense. Now, you may think, well, yeah, but Phil, that's you. So what? You can do this. There's nothing special about me and my ability to come up with ideas. You can too. Now, before we jump into this episode, I have some favors to ask. Can you like, share, and follow today's show? I'm sure there's others who can benefit from being able to bring their creativity, bring their ability to brainstorm on demand in the moment. So this will be a show for them. So share it with them and let them know about it. So let's jump into this week's episode on the 3 steps to brainstorm ideas.
This episode is sponsored by Zoom. With Zoom, you can streamline your communication, collaboration, and creativity all in one place. Zoom is the market-leading platform that provides video meetings, voice, webinars, and chat across desktops, phones, tablets, and conference room systems. To learn more about Zoom and sign up for your free account, visit killerinnovations.com/Zoom.
On demand. Let's be honest with ourselves. Being creative is hard. Coming up with new ideas. If you're a photographer, coming up with that next photo shot. If you're a painter, coming up with the new idea, that new concept for what a painting would be. A sculptor, you name it, coming up with that next idea, coming up constantly with new ideas is hard. But once you've had some success, what happens? People expect it of you. They expect that you're going to be able to come up with that next idea. Now, I've talked about it on past shows about creative block, and you can go back and find them. I'm not talking about creative block. What I want to talk about today is this experience that I've had a lot fairly recently about people coming up and expecting you to come up with ideas on demand. Your boss stops in and asks for fresh ideas on a new campaign, and he wants those ideas, before lunch. A crisis happens on your team or in your organization, and ideas are needed in response, but those ideas need to come about in the next few hours. You're in a crisis. What are you feeling? Is your heart racing? Your palms are sweaty? Is your first reaction to go run and hide? You got this. You can brainstorm ideas on demand. It sounds scary. It's probably freaking you out thinking about you being in this position. Now, there are a few steps that you can take to ask, and then you can respond with ideas. Ideas that act as a catalyst. People are not looking for fully formed ideas. So take comfort. Nobody's looking for you to have a fully fleshed out campaign to respond to a crisis or to have new ideas on a new advertising campaign. That's not what they're looking for. They're looking for catalyst ideas, the spark of ideas, starting points at one others can respond to and build upon. And that is the key difference for what they're looking for relative to, coming up with a, completely fully formed idea on demand. So I'm going to give you the 3 steps that I use. And I get a lot of this from phone calls from CEOs in a crisis or needing to get a spark of ideas in order to build upon. And so in those cases, I follow these 3 steps. I'm giving you a look under the hood of how I brainstorm ideas on demand. I can do this typically within 30 minutes to 90 minutes is kind of the time frame I am doing this. So I get a request, get a phone call, get an email saying, hey, do you have some quick ideas around X? Boom. I now immediately fall into the following 3 steps. Step number 1 is to create a problem statement. The most common reaction is to jump to an idea because obviously if someone calls you up and says, hey, do you have ideas about? Then your brain automatically is trying to answer that question and you're coming up with solutions. Resist that temptation. Stop. Do not start collecting up solutions. Define the problem. The quote I love is Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein was one time asked by a reporter that if he had 1 hour to save the world, how would he use that hour? And his answer was that he would spend 50 minutes defining the problem. And then he would spend 10 minutes solving the problem. So if Einstein's going to spend the majority of his time just defining and understanding the problem before he tries to solve it, what makes you think you can jump to the immediate solution? Your boss has dropped a problem in your lap. You need to brainstorm some ideas. Step 1, define the problem. Now, I've talked about this a lot. 2 recent being the last couple of years, of shows that you should go check out if you don't remember listening to them, or if you have, go back and listen to them because it'll refresh your memory on this. The first show is August of 2020, which is crafting problem statements. How do you craft them? How do you write them? How do you think about them? Problem statements are harder than they sound. Check out that show. And the second is June of 2019, going back a little bit further, 4 steps to better brainstorm problem statements. How do you brainstorm problem statements? And in that particular show, we talk about some of the work been doing with the U.S. Marine Corps and helping them to define problem statements so they can generate more ideas and, very importantly, better ideas to solve those problems. But fundamentally, when you think about a problem statement, you're trying to answer 3 questions. Who is the target? Who's the customer? Who's the one being impacted by this problem? Second is what is the problem? How do you catalyze and really understand the problem? Don't take the first thing that comes to mind. Really think about what the problem is. And the third is why is it crucial to solving this problem? Why is it important? Now, there's a template that I have. I shared in the shows in the past. You can find it online in the show notes for those particular shows. But fundamentally, you're talking about What is the problem? Who gets impacted? And why is it important? So let me give you an example. And this is actually one that I work and spend a lot of time on. The problem that was thrown or given to me specifically, and I am the sponsor on this idea, is around broadband for those individuals who live in rural, low density areas around the world. So the problem statement would be is the lack of ability or lack of access to broadband for those that live in low population areas, consumers and businesses, that results in making it difficult for people to work at home, live at home, get access to information, learn at home, and to have entertainment. So in this case is the problem being is the those that live rural, that inability to have access to broadband services, and the impact is the inability to effectively have a way to work at home, learn at home, play at home, and live at home, like telehealth as an example. So fiddling with that, coming up with that, refining that, and defining that as the problem statement, you do this first. This is always step one. Don't jump to the answer. Don't jump with coming up with 20 answers. Spend the time. Remember the Albert Einstein quote: out of 1 hour, spending 50 minutes truly understanding the problem, 10 minutes solving the problem. If you work and really craft a well written problem statement, the quantity ideas that you will generate and the quality of the ideas that you will generate for your boss or leader or whoever's asking you to do your best, brainstorm some ideas for them, will be impressed. So you want to do that. Step one, it is about making sure that you spend the time defining the problem. So step two is ideate. Now that you've got the problem statement, come up with ideas. Now, you can just open it up and go after just cranking out ideas. But what I do is I focus down on along two dimensions. You've only got it 60 minutes to 90 minutes to hurry up and brainstorm ideas. Some problem has been dropped in your lap. What are you going to do? I think about it in two dimensions, and the two dimensions are really the crux of what creates value for innovations. If you look at most innovations, you can break it down onto these two dimensions. The one dimension is time. Does your innovation save people's time? Can they become more efficient? Can time become more valuable? Meaning somebody comes up with an idea to offer a product where every minute using that product, the value of time gets higher. Time being one of those dimensions. The other dimension is money. Can you save money? Can you help someone make more money? Can you become more efficient with money? Can you find other people to provide you money to do something? So the two dimensions are time and money. If you look at most every innovation, that's the two dimensions. Take, for example, an iPhone. In an iPhone, time, the phone allows you to be more efficient. It used to be that you had your phone, but if you really wanted to do things on your calendar or send an email, you had to go get your laptop fired up, log in, and send it. Now you have it all in that device. Money, iPhone again. Phone allows you to be more efficient. You can always be available. Your customers can reach you. You can respond instantly to questions from them. You can close more deals. You can actually correlate the phone to its ability to make you more efficient, more effective, and therefore make more money. So time and money being fundamental, the two dimensions. So what I do, if I've got to do an on-demand brainstorming, someone's looking for me to come up with ideas in the next 60 to 90 minutes, I focus on these two dimensions. So I've asked myself questions, for instance, on time. What can you do around this problem to save time? How can you create more time? How do you create more value from that time? Can you solve the problem by taking longer or shorter? So think about the problem statement that I propose, which is around rural broadband, getting broadband to rural communities. The challenge there is can I shorten the time? Can I come up with an idea that allows me to deliver broadband out there, but I can do it much, much faster? It doesn't take 6 months of construction. I can do it in 30 days. How do I deliver broadband? How do I reduce the time in order to deliver that broadband? That's one idea or one way to think about time in relation to the problem statement that I mentioned. Now remember, the second dimension, time is one. Second dimension is money. How could you save money by solving the problem? Meaning, in some cases, people pay an exorbitant amount of money for alternative broadband services, satellites, etc., in order to get it, or they have to pay much more. Is there a way to deliver it to actually allow the customer to pay less for that? Can I find a way to construct it to where it costs a lot less to build it? And therefore, if it costs less, I can actually build out and reach more customers. That's another way to think about it. How could they or we make money by solving the problem? So you could think about it as if I deliver broadband and someone can work from home in a rural area and start a business, be an entrepreneur, launch a service of some kind, then that build out, that capability on the money dimension allows others to create and make money off of solving the problem of rural broadband. So again, there's a lot of other dimensions. There's a lot of different other ways to think about where you would target. But in the case of when I'm into the pressure where I've got to brainstorm some really critical, sparking, starting ideas, I focus on time and money. Those are the fundamental two dimensions of value, and therefore use that as a starting point that then others can build upon. So step two, ideate along time and money. Step three in the brainstorming, in getting these out quickly, is to share your raw ideas. So step one, you've come up with the problem statement. Step two, you've ideated across two dimensions. Step three, share. Bring others in. Find others who can join you on what it is you're doing. Now, key here is position the ideas as raw. They're not completely formed ideas. These are what I would call sparking ideas. They're going to trigger somebody else to say, wow, if you could do that, well, we could do this. We combine that together. We could really solve this problem statement. And invite those others to build upon. Do their own brainstorming, starting with your sparking, using your problem statement, but come up and build upon, plus it, as we say, which is a Walt Disney term of taking an idea and how do you make that idea 2 times better, 5 times better, 10 times better. That is what you want. You want to use your ideas, the ideas that you cranked out in the first 60 to 90 minutes, and use them as sparking starting points for others. So what do you do next? The next thing you do is you share the problem statement, describe the 2 dimensions, present your ideas. The crazier, the better, because you want to be an inspiration. You want to spark ideas from them built upon your ideas. And then do what? We always rank the ideas. We vote. Now you can do dot voting or criteria voting. And again, you can go back into the show archives, and there's been a lot of shows on ranking of ideas. Just look for ranking, and you will see a whole bunch of shows that'll show you how to rank ideas. So again, step 3 is you want to share your ideas. You want to share them as raw, and you want to get people to build upon them. So how do you get them to build upon them? Don't expect them just to take your ideas and start. Give them the problem statement, describe the dimensions, time and money, present your ideas, crazier the better, and then last, but don't forget it, vote. You want to select the best ideas for you to dig into. So by the end of 90 minutes to 2 hours, you actually will come out of this with a series of ideas that are not only the sparking ones that you came up with, but you've invited others to add to it. And now you have a list of a handful of really good ideas to move forward. And you did this all within, 60 to 90 minutes to get the basic ideas, and then 30 minutes of inviting others to build upon. Think about it. At, at minute zero, you weren't even thinking about this problem. It wasn't even on your plate. And within 90 to 120 minutes, you have a ranked set of ideas that individuals can take forward and actually progress. Pretty impressive, huh? Now, the question you're going to ask is, does this really work? And I can tell you emphatically it is yes. Now, there is some constraints. Again, always want to remember that this is a starting point. You will not have fully fleshed out, fully finished, ready to go ideas. This is just the part of the brainstorming to get things going. But some of those ideas may be something people can latch onto. You may come up with that idea for a crisis, or you may come up with that idea of the next campaign that your boss gets excited about and moves forward. Now, keep in mind there are some severe constraints. One is you're under intense time pressure. This isn't give you a problem and give you 90 days to solve it. This is I'm giving you a problem and you got 90 minutes to solve it. You will not be able to create those fully fleshed ideas. Ideas will be sparks. You'll be surprised at the ideas you come up with and what others will use that as inspiration. And again, you're constraining on the dimensions. You're focusing primarily on time and money. And it's not just time and money from your perspective and what you and your organization can save or make more money or your time. It's thinking about time and money in the context also of the end person, the end customer of when you solve that problem. Now, what are you going to expect to happen the first time you try this? What do you think? Well, one is you'll be very nervous. You'll be stressed. You'll have all the symptoms of stress, sweating, maybe a headache, hand sweating, heart rate going up, breathing. And you'll also suffer from fear of judgment. You're going to want to filter all of your ideas. You're going to want to step back and go, oh, I can't present that. The boss is going to think I'm nuts. Oh, I can't present that. That's even crazier. Be careful. Do not filter. Do not filter. You're trying to create ideas that will spark others to drive them to come up with new, different, and better ideas. So you are going to want to crazier the better, the nuttier, the more interesting, right? So do not be fearful of judgment. Do not filter. Go crazy. Go interesting. Go challenging. Go against any form of history or assumptions. And really you drive yourself to come up with ideas that could be challenging for others, but could be that spark that someone comes up and takes the portion of your idea, combines it with something they're doing, and all of a sudden you've got something that becomes pretty exciting. This ultimately means you need to take some risk. If the boss comes in and says, "Hey, I got an hour before a board meeting and we got a problem and I need your ideas quickly in an hour." You cannot say, "Hey, boss, a normal process for us to do a brainstorm is we might be able to do it in 30 days, but really it's no." You say, "Yep, got it. Tell me as much as you can about the problem. Let me understand that. And then go away and give me 60 minutes," right? Take the risk. Go for it. If you go for it, if you do this, you're going to be surprised at the ideas you come up with. People are going to go, "Wow, that's interesting. Okay, I get that one. That one doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but wow, these three are really interesting." You do that a couple of times, people will come to you and ask for your help. They will come to you and say, "Hey, I'm under pressure. I need your creativity. I need your ideas. I need you to help me innovate. And this is the foundation for building a highly valued, highly desired innovation reputation. As I said in the episode, do not let fear hold you back. Take the risk of being creative on demand. Take the problem on. When someone comes to you and says, hey, do you have any ideas? Say, give me a little bit of time. I'll come back to you in a couple of hours. Let me noodle on this. Let me work on this. Don't wait for the perfect brainstorming process. Don't wait to, come up with and find your 10 people and give them pre-read and schedule it 30 days out and then type up a nice report. Do this on demand in the moment. This will show your ability to work at the pace of innovation. And you'll be surprised that when you're faced with this time pressure, that your mind will become very focused. The ideas will come. And trust me, it gets easier the more you do it. It's like skydiving. The first time you do it, you're totally freaked out. But at the end, you're exhilarated and you'll try it again. And then you'll try it again. The same here. Make the leap. Your career will go to the next level. Trust me on this. Thanks for joining us today here on the show. Your time is valuable, and I greatly appreciate it. We never take your time for granted, and we strive to earn your investment of time. So I have a question for you. How are we doing? Please let me know. Drop me a note over at phil@killerinnovations.com, or you can contact me through any of the social medias. I want to remind you, I will accept connect requests over on LinkedIn. You just need to let me know that you are a listener of the podcast. Just send me a connection request, but in the notes, let me know that you're a listener, and I will accept. The other question I have for you is, what questions would you like to hear covered? If there's something about creativity, design, career, leadership, any of the topics we cover here on the show, if there's a specific topic or question that you really want to hear about or hear my opinion about something, drop me that note. Also, another request, and I always do this in every show, which is help me pay it forward. This show got started at the challenge of my mentor, Bob Davis, to pay forward my lessons learned, my experience across my career, including being the CTO at Hewlett Packard, now being a CEO of a research organization. So I use this as my platform to pay it forward, giving and sharing with you my experiences, my expertise as you build your career and your career success. So you can help me pay it forward by telling others. Post a review, a comment wherever you get your podcast. Let others know about it. Share the show on your social media platform. I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. And thanks again for joining us this week. We will be back soon with another episode. Bye-bye.
Podcasting nonstop since 2005, this has been the Killer Innovation Show on the Innovators Network.
This show is distributed by the Innovators Network. For more information and other great shows and content, visit theinnovators.network.